Acting as a sequel to 1986's beloved Top Gun, Joseph Kosinski's Top Gun Maverick sees the return of Tom Cruise's hotshot pilot Pete Maverick Mitchell. The film features Maverick taking up a teaching role this time around, training a new batch of Top Gun pilots for a dangerous mission in enemy territory, including Rooster, the son of his late former wingman Goose. Now the world-renowned film is being sued. Who and why is Top Gun being sued? This and more in today's video. First, Top Gun maker Paramount sued over copyright breach. The family of the Israeli writer whose article inspired the 1986 Tom Cruise movie Top Gun is suing the film studio Paramount Pictures for copyright infringement over its sequel. They claim the studio did not have the right to Ehud Yonay's 1983 story Top Guns, which it released the sequel Top Gun Maverick last month. The film earned $548 million, or $438 million globally, in its first 10 days of release. Paramount says the claim was without merit and vowed to contest it. Top Gun Maverick sees Cruise reprise his role as U.S. Navy pilot Pete Maverick Mitchell from the original 1986 film. It had the fourth biggest opening weekend of any film in the COVID era, behind the best-selling Spider-Man No Way Home, second place Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and then The Batman. The lawsuit, filed on Monday at the Los Angeles federal court by Ehud and Yuval Yonay, Ehud's widow and son, alleges that Paramount failed to acquire the rights to Ehud's magazine article after it was terminated under the U.S. Copyright Act. They are seeking unspecified damages from the film studio, including profits from the Top Gun Maverick. According to the lawsuit, Paramount's Top Gun franchise would not have existed without Ehud's literary efforts and evocative prose and narrative. The lawsuit said that in 2018, the Yonays informed Paramount that its rights to Ehud's article would be terminated 2 years later. It added that the studio lost the copyright for the piece in January 2020. Much as Paramount wants to pretend otherwise, they made a sequel to Top Gun after they lost their copyright. Lawyer Mark Toberoff, who is representing the Yonays, told the BBC, Paramount said in a statement, "These claims are without merit and we will defend ourselves vigorously." Mitra Ahorarian, a Los Angeles-based entertainment attorney, told the BBC that Paramount's plans to produce Top Gun Maverick in 2018 and release it in 2019 were delayed because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Timing is going to be very important in this case because the notice of termination was sent to have an effective date of 2020, the lawyer explained. The sequel sees Maverick return to the Top Gun Flying Academy as an instructor in charge of training a new generation of pilots. It gave Hollywood superstar Cruise his first $1 million opening weekend at the box office. His previous biggest opening weekend came in 2005 with War of the Worlds, which raked in $64 million. In other news, Top Gun Maverick becomes the second movie to cross the $1 billion at a box office since 2019. Top Gun Maverick officially becomes the second movie since 2019 to cross $1 billion at the global box office, acting as a sequel to 1986's beloved Top Gun. Joseph Kosinski's Top Gun Maverick sees the return of Tom Cruise's hotshot pilot Pete Maverick Mitchell. Per a new report from Deadline, Top Gun Maverick has now officially crossed $1 billion at the global box office, making it the second film since 2019 to do so after Spider-Man No Way Home last year. The $1 billion comprises $521.7 million earned domestically and $484.7 million from international markets. Both Top Gun Maverick and Spider-Man No Way Home are the only movies to have hit this impressive milestone since Avengers Endgame shattered box office records upon its release in 2019. While the marketing from Paramount and Cruise has undoubtedly helped Top Gun Maverick at the box office, the film also boasts strong reviews and very positive word of mouth. The positive reception to the film has helped Cruise's latest blockbuster to see relatively small dips in box office performance from weekend to weekend, with last weekend experiencing only a 21% drop. Top Gun Maverick is currently competing against another legacy sequel, Jurassic Park Dominion, which has also been performing well at the box office with over $700 million earned globally, despite the film's generally poor reviews. Although the Top Gun sequel comes more than 35 years after the original film, it's clear that time has not deterred audiences' interest in Cruise's hotshot pilot. Crucially, the film features plenty for both longtime fans of the original and newcomers alike to enjoy, with Top Gun Maverick's aerial combat alone making it worth the price of admission for many viewers. With movie theaters having struggled for the last few years under the restrictions brought on by the coronavirus pandemic, Top Gun Maverick's record-breaking performance could suggest that, at least for many audiences, blockbuster movies are back and better than ever. Next, why Charlie didn't return for Top Gun Maverick. There are conflicting reasons why McGillis didn't come come back as Charlie in Top Gun Maverick. According to Kaczynski, he wanted Top Gun Maverick to look forward instead of backward, so they were intentional in the legacy characters that they brought back for the follow-up. This reasoning checks out. Aside from Cruise's Maverick, only Val Kilmer's Tom "Iceman" Kaczynski returned for Top Gun Maverick from the original 1986 blockbuster. Despite his limited screen time, he was actually integral to the movie's narrative. However, McGillis has a different reason for Charlie's absence in Top Gun Maverick. According to her, she believes that the decision was ultimately due to her age and looks. In a 2019 interview, she said, "I'm old, and I'm fat, and I look age-appropriate for what my age is, and that is not what the whole scene is about." Moving on, Charlie's return would have harmed Maverick's Top Gun 2 story. As surprising as it was to see Maverick with someone else, bringing back Charlie would have negatively impacted Top Gun Maverick's story. As Kaczynski mentioned, the film was meant to move the story forward, and while that didn't stop it from leaning on nostalgia, the Paramount blockbuster did it so perfectly without making it look like the sequel was merely a cash grab. In the film, Maverick was desperately hanging on to his glory days as a fighter pilot. Although he ultimately proved that he still has what it takes to lead dangerous missions for the Navy, it was clear that it's only a matter of time before he needs to actually retire and be grounded. Iceman himself knew this, hence his poignant advice to his flying partner, "It's time to let go." Between this and Maverick's conflict with Bradley "Rooster" Bradshaw, Miles Teller, Goose's son, that's more than enough ties to the past in Top Gun Maverick. Bringing in Charlie would have bogged down the story and may have even taken some focus away from some of the other pilots on the flick, including establishing the new breed of fighter pilots that could continue the burgeoning Top Gun franchise. Why Maverick's Top Gun 2 ending is so perfect. Interestingly, it's uncertain if Maverick retired at the end of Top Gun Maverick. That being said, the film surely wraps up the character's personal arc. Given the death of Iceman and the success of what could be his final mission, not to mention his reconciliation with Rooster, the movie leaves him at a place where he can finally come to terms with his hang-ups and move forward with his life. Whether that's still being an active member of the Navy and a Top Gun instructor or other pursuit is regardless. The important thing is that it gives him the opportunity to begin a new chapter in his life. Being with Penny somehow emphasizes that. While Top Gun Maverick makes it clear that the pair had had some affair before, their relationship feels like a cleaner start for Maverick. Bringing Charlie back at the end without fully tackling what went wrong in their relationship would feel inappropriate with what Kaczynski was trying to do in the movie, which is to usher Mitchell into a new chapter in his life. Finally, Iceman's Top Gun 2 role supports theories of who really killed Goose. Goose's death is an integral part of Top Gun Maverick's story. It's the film's emotional core, as both Maverick and Bradley "Rooster" Bradshaw, Miles Teller, still grapple with the tragedy. While Iceman is somehow connected to it, being the only other character in the sequel who was there when the accident happened, he's relatively removed from this particular plot point in Top Gun Maverick. He doesn't get any kind of interaction with the younger Bradley, although Rooster did attend Iceman's eventual funeral, however. Kaczynski also never directly mentions Goose. Although he and Maverick talk about his son, it's also worth noting that Iceman is well aware of Maverick pulling Rooster's applications from the Naval Academy. It would have been great to see Rooster have some interactions with Iceman, as it could have revealed whether or not Kaczynski actually harbors some guilt over what happened to Goose. Given what happens to Iceman by the end of Top Gun Maverick, there's a slim chance that the franchise can definitively address this argument in the future. In any case, Top Gun Maverick has also seemingly wrapped up all loose narrative ends regarding the accident with Maverick and Rooster's reconciliation. Moving forward, Top Gun 3 needs to tackle an entirely new story that will set up future beyond Cruise's Daredevil pilot. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for you today. Thanks for sticking around to the end. Make sure to follow for more great content.